Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to Chronicles of a Crafter. Today I'm going to do a little bit more Christmas in July, and this is basically just a little card box that you can house some of your Christmas cards and sort them for you while you are starting to pick out cards and decorate cards, or start labeling who you're giving which cards to. This is also just a great box for sorting just about anything. You can sort recipe cards in here, you can sort Christmas cards, birthday cards, what have you. I don't have any right now to show you in this demonstration, but I do have a bunch of card envelopes, which are craft card paper. It's like craft paper envelopes. So yeah, anyway, I wanted to make this box to just sort through some of the cards that we get throughout the year. The thing about this box right here, I made this with single-sided cardstock, 12 by 12 sheet of paper, a single sheet of paper, made all of this, and it's a little flimsy. Okay, so this is my little prototype, and it's just a little bit, it's not very sturdy. So because I'm using single-sided paper, what I've decided to do was I took 2 sheets of paper, glued them together, and made this way more sturdier page right here. So technically it's still one sheet of 12 by 12 if you're using double-sided paper for the aesthetics and the prettiness of it. But if you want something that's super sturdy, I would definitely go with 2 sheets of single-sided paper. Glue them together really well. I used my Scotch Create glue stick, and then I just ran my heat gun over it and my brayer and brayered it to death. Like, I just went in with the brayer for like 2-3 minutes. And the heat gun just really, like, it lifts the glue and gets it agitated enough so that it sticks together. Really simple project. We're going to do one of these today, and yeah, I hope you guys grab your paper and let's make this box. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing you want to decide is what side is going to be your inside and which side is going to be your outside. All right, my last box, the outside is red, so I think I'm going to make the inside red on this one, just in case if I decide to keep that other box. It's still usable. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it. So all you really want to do at this point is take your 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and you want to score it at 7 inches all the way down. All right, so that's going to give us a 6-inch box, and I'll show you why in just a moment. You score at 7 all the way down, and then I'm going to take this over to my guillotine and cut this really quickly. So 1 second, 2 ticks. Okay, so we scored at 7, and I cut away the 5 inches. Don't throw this away. We are going to use this in this project. So now I have this 7-inch 7 by 12 sheet right here. Let me use my other scoring tool. And first of all, you want to score at 1/2 inch. And this is fairly thick, so I'm really going to have to apply some pressure scoring at 1/2 inch. And then you want to score at 6.5 on the other side. Okay. And then you want to rotate your paper. It doesn't really matter which side you do rotate it. However, mine does have a direction, so I need to make sure that my words are right side up. Okay, so that's the way you want to make sure that your stuff is right side up, is by placing the right side up side to your left. So here are all my little booties. They're over on the left hand side facing up. Okay, so first you want to score here at 3, and then you want to score at 6. Okay, so now if you were to fold here at your 3 mark, you don't have to bone fold it down yet, but this is fairly thick, so I'm just going to try to get it all just folded really nice and tight. Okay, so this is what you will have left. Okay, and of course my booties were glued down upside down. I forgot. So, okay, because I'm using two sides, let's just talk about this for a second. I forgot, okay? If you want your paper to be right side up, one of your sheets have to be upside down. Gosh, Nicole, I completely forgot that part of the process. So, here's what we're going to do in this case. Oh, boy. The Chronicles of a Crafter, I swear. It's too much. Okay, so I'm going to go with my words right side up, and my booties will just have to be upside down. Okay, so that's my dilemma. One of my sheets, let's say the booties, should have been upside down when I glued this paper together, and my words should have been right side up. This way when you flip it over, one's right side up and the other one's right side up. Anywho, moving right along, I'm just going to take a pair of scissors, right, and I'm going to cut along that 1/2 inch score mark, just a couple of triangles right out of the page, like so, okay, on that 6 score mark and the 3 score mark on both sides. All right, I'm over it, guys. I'm over it. Like I was pretty upset just about 2 seconds ago, and now I'm completely over it, because it is what it is. Lessons learned along the way, and don't do it the way I did it. Do it the way I'm telling you to do it. So, yeah, if you want your 2 pages to be the correct way, you know. All right, so now we're just going to fold in our 1/2 inch score marks everywhere. Okay, so there's that one, this one, and that one. And then we have this part up here and this part over here. Okay, so now we have what looks like this. Okay, so our sheet of 5 by 12 is what's left over, and that's what's going to we're going to use this to create the sides for this box right here. So this is what our box will eventually look like when we fold it all up. Okay, so our sides has to be at least 6 inches, right? So I'll show you a very easy way to get this the sides panels to be the right size. All you're gonna do is take your leftover paper, okay, and you're going to score at 6. And we know that that's the height of the back side of our box, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut away the 6 inches. We're just cutting it in half, basically. I'm using my little tiny guillotine here because it's here. Okay, so and then you want to cut this in half again. So you cut it in half at 6, and then you want to cut this 6 in half at 3. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And you have this left over, and then you take this other one and you cut that down to 3. And now you just have these 2 2-inch sheets left over. All right, so the next thing we want to do is, okay, I'm going to show you a very simple way to come up with your sides. We know that this right here was scored at 3, so this is 3 inches. And we know that back here was scored at 6, so this back here is 6 inches. So all we're really going to do is take our 2 pieces like this. I'm going to mark it at 3 with my pencil. And then I'm just going to cut the triangle off on both sides right there. And that's what's going to give us the perfect height for both sides of our box. So I'm just going to use my little ruler here to line my 3-inch mark up with the top of this card, or side panel basically, and then I'm going to use my scissors and cut that off. Really simple, okay? There's no real science involved. Now, okay, here's the other part that we need to be concerned with. If I cut this side off right here, okay, that's going to be my outside on this side. For my inside on this side, I need to measure and cut the opposite direction. All right, so almost did that wrong too. My mark has to go in the opposite direction. Here, I'll just cut one, and then I'll line it up and show you what I mean. Okay, so this is my inside of the left-hand side of my box, okay? And for the inside of my right-hand side of the box, this has to match, okay? So just line that up and cut that off. Okay, so there's that. It's a little off, but it's okay. No worries, no worries. Okay, so at this point I want to round corners, and if you don't, that's fine. You can skip this part. I just want to round the corners down here at the bottom of my Christmas box. So I'm sticking all of this into the corner rounder. Hopefully it will punch, and if it doesn't, we're in trouble. Okay, here we go. Rounded corner. I use my largest corner setting, and that's about 10 millimeters. So I'm just going to stick the other side here in the front into the corner rounder. Okay, and there's that. Alright, the next step is to glue everything. So I'm just going to move my scoreboard out of the way. I don't think we need that anymore. And I'm just using some, what is this? Fabrifix glue on the sides here. Not a lot. You don't need a lot. Just for these parts of the scored sections. But what you want to do is make sure that it's as straight as possible. So I'm going to use my little T-square ruler to get this as straight as possible. And I'm going to clip the sides down like that. Okay. Well, that's not straight at all. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Alright, so yeah, that's fairly straight. Then we're going to repeat the same process on the other side over here. Let me just get my... Thought I had a couple more clips. I saw them just a little while ago and now I can't find them. Okay, great. So I'm going to use some bullnose clips on this side over here. And again, just as straight as you possibly can get this part. It will all line up in the end. It just may take some finagling when you get down to gluing on your sides. Okay, and whatever's bleeding out, just wipe it up with a dry wipes and you should be fine. Like, yeah, that should be just fine. I'm just going to line everything up again with my T-square, making sure that it's as straight as possible, because this can be a problem down the road if you don't get this straight. Alright, and you let that dry for a couple of minutes. And while it's drying, you can size up your sides. I put my sides on the outside, and yeah, I think that's gonna look really great. Okay, so when you glue on your outside of your outside panel, that's when you can take the time to move things around and make sure everything is right where you need it to be. And then you're going to cut off, let me show you, you're just going to cut off that this little piece right here. It's like a little piece of extra cardstock in the back side of your box. Okay, and this already is feeling a lot more sturdy than the previous box that I made, which is even hard to pick up, like, you know, like this, you know, everything just wants to collapse on itself. But this right here definitely feels a lot more sturdy, you know, in my hands. If you wanted to round your corners in the back here, you can. I rounded the corners on this one, wasn't a big fan of the way it looked, so I left this one squared off. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I may or may not decide to round them. We'll just see. It's just that it looks a little, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and take my two 2x6 sheets that's left over, and I'm going to make these two little tabs right here. Really simply, I have a cheater, which is my punch. And it punches everything from 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches. And these are 2-inch. So I'm just going to slide these in all the way to the back of the punch. Just try to get it as straight as possible, because this punch tends to do weird things. Like, if it's not straight, you can tell right away. It's just, I mean, it's all wonky and leaning to one side or the other, but this came out pretty straight. I like that. All right, so there's that, and I'm going to do the same thing for this 2.5 or this 2-inch right here. Okay, two perfectly straight tags. All right, so those will go into this box. And then for the last piece, which is these little triangles here. Okay, so what I did on this one, I took my two little triangles, glued them together to make a square, and then I ran that square through my Gemini Mini over here and made myself a little label that goes on the outside. And if you don't have little tiny brads like this, like these are super tiny. If you don't have these, don't sweat it. I just I had some sheets of these pearls from the Dollar Tree, and they're usually in their either their arts and crafts section or their floral section. These I think were in the floral section. They're very tiny and they look like this. I just went ahead and cut them out and glued a couple of those little pearls on the front here to look like brads. All right, but I think this time around I'm going to use my little tiny brads. That means I need to punch little tiny holes into the front here. And to do so, I'm just going to use, this is like some packing foam. All right, I'm just going to place it right here. And I know the size of my, where is it? Here's my little thingamadoo. What is this called, guys? A label? Like a label die? Sure. Let's call it a label die. Alright, so this will be it here. And you just want to get it centered. And I'm not even going to punch it yet. I'm just going to mark it really first, because punching it could be a problem right now. So I know that my label is centered between those two marks right there. All right, and that's more than likely where my punches for my brads are going to go. All right, let's take a look and see how well these dried and how straight they are. You probably won't be able to tell until you try to put these pieces on, okay? And again, that's when you want to wiggle your page back and forth and try to get everything lined up nice and neat. And again, I'm just using my Fabrifix. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to pop some Fabrifix along the sides here, here, and down here. And glue on my left side. And then I'm going to place my little clamps back on to hold everything in place. Okay. And I'm going to repeat the process on the opposite side. Okay, so the sides of the box are right side up. However, the front and the back are upside down. And that's only because we had the opportunity to cut the paper in the right direction. And it doesn't wrap all the way around. So that's where you lose the, the direction of it when you have to wrap it around itself. Okay, no big deal. The world will not end. It will carry on just the same. Okay. And I will let this dry for just a few minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, everything's nice and dry, squared up pretty nicely. Okay, I'm just going to ink the edges just to grunge it up a little bit with my ground espresso. So I'm just going to ink around the creases and any of the edges of the paper that may be showing that's white. So right in there, around here. And then we're going to break out the Gemini Mini and do some cutting. Okay, so I just want to show you what's left over. We have these two pieces right here, which we cut away from these sides right there. Okay, so this is what's left over. And I cut these with my scissors, so they're not perfectly straight, nor are they right side up or any, like, you know, like the words are what they are at this point. So this section right here does not have to, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. I'm just trying to use up every last bit of this paper, and I might, now I have to do it on this side because I need it to contrast with what's going on the out there. So I'm just using some Fabrifix glue with the precision tip here to get some glue on the edges of this. So I'm just going to put a bead of glue right there on the edge. And I'm going to stick this one down right on top of it. So of course it's not going to be straight. Not straight, but you know, it's not going to make any sense. But what you want to do is get a full section so that you can run it through your cutter. I'm using this little guy right here, my Gemini Mini. And once that dries, which will be really quick because it's just a tiny bead of glue right on the edge, I'm going to try to cut through it with this little Sizzix die cut. Okay, so hopefully my die cut will cut through it. If it doesn't, because this is now right here at the edge is 4 sheets of paper. Okay, so it's double-sided because I glued 2 pieces together, and right here in the middle is considered 4 sheets. So it's all up in the air whether or not this part is going to work, but again, I'm just trying to use up all of my scrap. Okay, so while I look for my little sleeve that goes over my die cut, just 1 second. Okay, so here's my ratty little sleeve that goes through my Gemini Mini. It's a little beat up. And I've only had this thing for less than like 3 or 4 months, but I use it a lot. I'm just going to try to center this on here. Because whatever direction that it's facing, that's the direction that it's going to go upright on the front of this. Okay, so yeah, I don't think it really matters too much. Not much of it's going to show once I put my other label on top of it. So let's just see what we get. Oh my goodness, let me put this like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna run this through. And I'll run it back through again. And then one more time for good measure, just to make sure that it cuts. Fingers crossed, it did it. Okay, great. So this is what we have. Just look at the shape, guys. Don't look at the don't look at the crazy that's going on in the middle there. Just look at the shape of it. It's nicely cut through, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what's going on otherwise with the letters. Just have to look past it. But that's gonna look really nice there. A little contrasting of color. It matches the back side of the box, and yeah, it's gonna look really cute right there. So alright, so now I know that I put 2 marks on here where my little brads are gonna go through. So this has to go somewhere in here, like so. I think that's about, I think that's about centered. Okay, so there's that. And for the outside, or the middle part, I'm going to use a different die. Or I could just leave it like so, but I want to put a different die in the front there. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to use this die right here to get a different label to go on the front of this. And I'm just going to run it through with just some regular plain paper. This is just some, I don't know what this is actually. I just found it earlier today, so I'm going to use this. And unfortunately, I got to break this apart now because it's too small. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use here. I'm going to run this through like this. And this paper is fairly thin, so I know it cut all the way through on this one. So we have this little guy, which will go right here. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Fabrifix glue on this piece. Just a little bead of glue is plenty, because we're also going to pierce this with our little tiny brads. So just a little bead of glue around the edges is plenty of glue. And I'm just going to take a little piece of card like this and measure it to my, just going to measure it to the inside right here. Here, let me get you closer. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. And I'm just going to just guesstimate the size of the page that's going to go into that little pocket right here. Okay, so that's definitely wide enough. Just need to cut it down so that it's narrow on the edges. Okay. That's cool. So I'll ink this. And I'm going in pretty heavy on the ink because this page is so white. And I'm just using a little Sharpie here, and I'm going to write the word cards on it. Okay. And some Fabrifix glue here in the middle. Okay, so that's that. And I'm going to use my little pokey tool with my foam right here and just pierce through this section where the holes are. And that should easily go through there. And I'm going to use these little tiny brads. I think the hole I made was big enough. So I'm doing one side at a time, one brad at a time, I should say, because I want it to be straight. So I'm just going to push through one side of the brad. And as you can see, like now you can adjust, you know. So, oh, you're really close. Sorry. Okay, so, yep, I'm just doing one brad at a time. Okay. And you can always put some, like a little bit of glue behind here, but a brad will hold it all together for you without a problem. The other card, I did glue the entire thing down because I decided to use little pearls instead of brads. I think this looks so cute. Oh my gosh, we are almost done, guys. Like, this is almost finished. All right, so I think that's about all there was to it. I just cut off these little corners, like I was saying, like you have this little edge sticking out right there. You just cut that away, ink it to get rid of the white, cut this side off as well. And then that's it. Like, this is so stinking cute. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Yeah. Isn't that? And it's way more sturdy. Here, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So, like, this box, oh, you're still too close. This box right here will buckle on you on the sides. Like, it's not very, very sturdy, although it still can be used, okay? But if I were to put all of this stuff in here, I mean, this box is really holding its weight, okay? My little tabs or dividers, if you will, are still so cute, and I think that looks great. I mean, that'll really help either with recipes, like I said, or separating out your cards and, you know, what have you. So I think this box came out pretty cool. I hope you guys give this a try. I want you guys to have a super crafty day. Stay naturally curious, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye. Oh guys, I forgot to tell you, this is all the trash that you have left over. It's just this right here. Like, these are from my tabs. These are little triangles that I cut away, and then this. So I don't know what you can do with this, but this is all the garbage that you've got left over. So we've used up an entire sheet of 12 by 12. Well, some of us 2 sheets, because I had to glue mine together. A whole fiasco. Anyway, so this is all the trash that we have left over. Use up all your scraps, guys. This I think I'm gonna throw away. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree.
Music licensing reimagined.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me